Friend Stephen A. Smith somehow came up in a really weird, bizarre way during a conversation about reality TV. Take a look.
You know, if I listen to ESPN for an hour, it's like watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta. You know, I mean, you know, it's the same drama and they're yelling at each other and they don't get along. You know, I mean, Stephen A. Smith, he's just like every other
he'd
talk
be a
show
great
host.
Real Housewife.
He would be.
Right.
Right?
It would be amazing.
So that's why I'm like, what's the difference? It's just, you know, it's just sociological drama.
Really, Michelle Obama isn't the only ghost of the Democrats' past to reemerge on the public scene recently. Former Vice President Kamala Harris announced her return to the spotlight last week with a book launch and an appearance on the very canceled Colbert. But some Democrats are not happy to see Kamala again. Multiple Democratic strategists telling Politico they would not want her campaigning for their candidates and say she should not run in 28. Here with his take, the star of First Take and the host of his own podcast and the host of every other show that he does, the one and only Stephen A. Smith. I took great offense at this. All right, so you and I will talk sports off air, and we'll agree at times to disagree. But when you look at an athlete, they have dedicated, whatever sport it happens to be, they have dedicated their entire lives to reach the pinnacle of success, to become a professional athlete or a top D1 college athlete. There's no comparison to these reality housewives show. I found it insulting.
Well, zero, but I didn't take offense to her comments. You know, she was comparing reality TV to sports TV from the standpoint of watching us go at one another. Well, first of all, like you said, there's no relation because these are some of the greatest athletes on the planet Earth that play professional sports. That's who we're talking about as opposed to reality TV stars that can barely act. That's number one. Number two, when you look at what she was talking about, you also have to take into consideration that she doesn't really pay much attention to sports. Evidently, she leaves that to her husband. And when she talked about First Take, she talked about us arguing with one another, hating on one another. We got a lot of love for one another on First Take. We get along just fine. We have a blast laughing and joking and having a ball and yelling at each other about sports. Sometimes we're monotone in our delivery, but we have a lot of fun on First Take. That's why we've been #1 for 13 consecutive years and counting. That's number two. Number three, let me say this to the other people she
Just
rapped
don't
that
talk
she had
politics, and you're doing great.
Stop it. Let me say this. Let me say this last part to the other people that were on the table with her. You can say Stephen A. Smith is a lot of things and will be a lot of things. The one thing you can never say about me is that I'm going to be a housewife. There's no confusion there. Zero.